Alrighty now, the day has dawned. The final episode of our listening journey through Architects' discography. It's been a fun one. I've enjoyed this one a lot. You know, Architects is a band that I've been listening to for a while now, but I only knew their, the newer stuff. So I thought, why not? Let's just go back in time. We'll explore every last piece of Architects media, and well, not every piece, but the main staples. And I've enjoyed my time with this band a lot. But now we face their most recent record, being The Classic Symptoms of a Broken Spirit. Now, this one's a controversial one, much like For Those That Wish to Exist on its release, in that it doesn't quite take the fans by the neck the same way a lot of their older projects did. Yeah, it didn't quite take the fans by the scruff of the neck like the other projects did, and some of their other singles and songs especially. So, there were problems to be had with this album. It's obviously it's nowhere near as popular as For Those That Wish. If you look, the most popular song on this album is When We Were Young, being 31 million, which is still a hefty amount of streams, don't get me wrong, but compared to the numbers that songs like Animals did and Doomsday on Holy Hell, it's quite the comparable difference. So that's why, of course, this is it's a controversial one. Now, what impresses me the most about the album is how quickly it released after For Those That Wish to Exist. It released only a year later. Now, granted, For Those That Wish came out during, basically still during the pandemic, so maybe Sam and the gang, they had some time to put together this album, or maybe some of these were some leftovers from For Those That Wish to Exist. I have no idea. I haven't really looked into the production history of the album. All I know is, I know about 4 songs from the album, being obviously Deep Fake, Spit the Bomb, When We Were Young, and A New Moral Low Ground. I briefly remember a little bit of Tear Gas, but not much of it. So obviously this is another revisiting and not a first time hearing. But yeah, I think I've been waffling for long enough. But what I will say is as well, if you've noticed as well, there's a new pair of gigs on, and that's because I decided to invest into some nice headphones for when we do these things. So of course we've gone for the DT 990 Pros, which are a very common pair of headphones you'll see a lot of people wearing, and I think they're pretty good. I just wish I had them sooner, because those old pair that I were using were just I think they're called GXTs. I just found them on a supermarket shelf for about 30 quid a couple of years ago when I used to play online on the PlayStation. So that tells you the quality of them. They're good for the money, but they're not great. But obviously now we've got something where we can actually properly try and appreciate the music with. So yeah, if you're wondering as well, will it be an unfair comparison? I have gone back and I've listened to a lot of the songs using these, and yeah, the difference is night and day, but it doesn't change my opinion on the albums. But yeah, no, let's stop beating around the bush and let's kick off with Deep Fake. Let's go, boys. Yeah, I do know this track. I've heard it a few times. Yeah, so straight away you'll probably recognise that the way the song sounds is quite similar to a lot of what was heard on the previous record. Straight into Tear Gas, no messing. Those bloopy sonar sounds in the background were interesting. I don't mind the chorus, but the rest of it's a bit... I don't know. I'm not feeling this one. It's so, slow and strange. I don't get it. Yeah, I weren't feeling that one anywhere near as much as Deep Fake, so we'll swiftly move on from that one, Spit the Bone. Which is obviously another one that I do know. This one's alright, I don't mind this one. Just off the top of my head of what I remember of it. Because like I say, every time one of these songs I've queued up in my playlist since we started this, I have skipped, so it's been a while since I've heard this. Yeah. Yeah, it's no. It's better than the other two, but it's still like, it doesn't feel like Architects. Blech. Again, yeah. I remember nothing about this one. Again, it's another strange one in that it's not something I'd expect to hear from Architects. The way the vocal flow goes with the actual like music itself is nice and everything, and it is definitely carrying the song, but it's such a strange sounding song. Like, I don't know what the direction was with this. Was it like pretend to imitate another band, like mix something from Deftones with something from I don't fucking know. It's just, the main vibe I'm getting from that bass guitar during the verses, it's Deftones, but I don't know what I'm getting from the rest of it. What a seriously strange track that was, my lord. Yeah, I think that one was one of the first ones that have, obviously, the first song as well. Sorry, not the first song. Tear Gas for a bit. Oh, I don't know. But yeah, we've had. I'd say we've had half a hit and miss, another half a hit and a miss. So it's not looking good, bruv. But we'll move into the next track, which will be "Living Is Killing Us." It sounds like something from Doom. What the fuck? Mick Gordon? If I was to write this song, I would have done that a bit differently. Because both Living Is Killing Us were the same. I would have left the one that it was for second and do a calmer one first. I like progressive music, personally. Yeah, I wouldn't have done that way, personally. That was probably, I enjoyed that one the most so far. There's no doubt about that. I actually enjoyed that one a lot. It reminded me of something from the previous album, just a bit more refined. But what I'm saying about that section with Living Is Killing Us, I'd keep the last one, where it's very aggressive in its vocal tone and the fry screen. But when it comes to the first one, to try and push into that aggression, see, just to be living is killing us. But obviously, the song itself doesn't support that notion, because there is purposely a pause so we can get to that scream. Whereas if it was me, I would just do one continuous push, where it's push comes to shove, but it's heresy just to be living is killing us. Like, there is that pause there for the sake of it, and obviously those lyrics do not move into those ones well enough to just make it a continuous flow. But respect, it's still good. I like it. I just personally would have considered doing that better, but I don't have no musical qualifications or anything like that. Moving on. When We Were Young, this is also another one that I have heard, and I don't know. I think it's overstayed its welcome. Oh! Oh. Yeah, I think this one has obviously its welcome a little bit. I've heard it for a long time, but yeah, it's alright. Doom scrolling. The way it's crescending with all those background marching sounds makes you think you're at the end of the song, but we're not really halfway through it. That's an odd one. Yeah, this is another one that I wouldn't associate with Architects. If I didn't recognise Sam Carter's voice, but I had a general understanding of the Architects sound pattern, this wouldn't make me associate this with Architects. That can't be easy to do. That's why I admire like metal vocalists so much. They're so diverse. Okay, I was about to say as well that we've had no transitions between any songs on this album, but there it is. There's the transition. But no, this is why I respect metal vocalists so much. But just the range that they have. How can you go from the heights of those like that sorrow to, you know, that really like, it's like a really throaty scream that he does. It's hard to just give your voice and to tell your brain to do these things where you get those fry screams. I find fry screaming very difficult. I don't know, obviously people that like these songs and whatnot, and they want to do them in their own time, like you like to practice like your screams and shit. I love to do it. I can't get down a fry scream. I don't know if I'm doing it right or wrong, but if I do it in a way that's comfortable, it sounds awful. But when it comes to like guttural screams and growls, that's more my forte. So when you hear someone like Carter with a vocal range that he has and the unique vocal sound that he has as well, go from those heights of the sorrow to the rest of it, I really do like that. That sounds great. But I'll skip back and then we'll go from the transition. Yeah, it's so seamless. Come drowning out sorrow. Right, well, I said there was a transition, but it was like, it's a very like, it's like whiplash. This is an odd one. Don't know how I feel about these lyrics. Oh, that's a cool reference. The here and now. If that was intended, then I like that. That's cool. That was neat. There was one in the first song as well, weren't there? In Deep Fate, where they say, okay. What was it? It was like the rest of us wish to exist. Yeah. So if those are intended album ref callbacks, that's cool. That was a nice little section. Right, this might be a strange comparison to draw, because I'm not talking about the lyrics here. I'm talking strictly instrumental. This gives me the vibe, until now, something that you would hear on the soundtrack to Shadow the fucking Hedgehog. It feels like the best parts of all the vocal songs with a few stage songs. Yeah, I don't know about that one. Oh, okay. Yeah, this is one again that I know. And I really do like this one, from memory. This was one of my most listened to songs back in 2022, I believe. Knows I'm getting you down. Oh. That guitar solo, I believe, is one of the things that made me absolutely fall in love with this tune. Even then I got told it's something so different to what they normally do, and after all this, yeah, that's something very unique about this track, a guitar solo. I don't know what it is about it, but I think it's just like the really like crunchy radio staticky sound that they have over the whole song that fits that guitar so nicely, and it sounds really nice. I just really do like the sound of the guitar in that solo. But from the rest of it as well, that feels to me like the closest Architects, well, recent days anyway, excluding the newest singles. This feels like the closest that there is to their old stuff, like pre For Those That Wish, in the modern format, and it works so well. And I just wish they made more songs like it because it's really good. Anyway, All the Love in the World. How many songs have we got left after this? I'm actually not sure. We only got one left after this. Okay. Nice little acapella section. Like that. That one were a strange one. If I could sum that up in a sentence, it's Baby's first metal song, and that's what a lot of these feel like. They are very, very tame songs in both lyrical direction and sound, which, of course, is nothing like what they used to be, but, of course, Architects as a band have evolved, and we need to accept that fact, and we need to move on. It's just like those people that always say, Bring Me the Horizon haven't been good since There Is a Hell, and it's, you know what I mean? It's the band's evolved, the sounds change. I'm content with the sound change for Architects. Don't get me wrong. Since listening to all these albums back to back to back to back, All Our Gods Have Abandoned Us and Hollow Crown have become some of my favourite LPs of all time. And For Those That Wish to Exist has fallen down that ladder. However, I still do appreciate a lot of songs on For Those That Wish to Exist. So it's not that I just don't like the sound. I just think this album feels incredibly strange compared to what they had going in the last one, which was, as far as I'm aware, very positively reviewed. But obviously that's by critics. Obviously the fans have their own say, but I have no idea how this one reviewed. But anyway, last song, 420, funny. Be Very Afraid. Let's go. Well, just as I was speaking about their old style, that's an odd one. That's a super odd one. There's about 40 seconds of noise or something. Okay. The outro just sounds like someone's woke up out of bed and heard birds tweeting and pressed record on the phone with the white noise and stuff. That's a strange one. This feels more like it would be a better opening track than an ending track with how you say the fucking album's name. It reminds me a bit of Dear Diary from Post-Human Survival Horror in the way that tune goes, in it being like a very different song from the rest of the album, and it says its own name. It's not like Shadow Moses where you scream "This is Sempiternal" in the middle of the runtime, because everything before that anyway was already good. And when you get to that point, you're like, yes, we're at the peak now. With this album, this was, I don't know, I can't really gather any concrete thoughts on this, because Deepfake is okay. Tear Gas was not great. Spit the Bone is okay. Burn Down My House was strange. Living Is Killing Us, I enjoyed. When We Were Young is alright. It's worn out its welcome. I didn't really feel anything with doom scrolling. Born Again Pessimist was okay at times. I still do enjoy New Moral Low Ground. All the Love in the World, again, another one where I'm just like, and this one, it's a very, this should be the classic symptoms of a broken spirit, because that's just how it makes you feel. It feels like your spirit is broken after you listen to this album, because you're like, yeah, the heights of like the songs on the new style, being songs like Impermanence and Animals and Ordinary Extinction, Discourse is Dead, Giving Blood, those kind of songs were really good. I enjoyed those songs in the new style. But then you come to this expecting a new turn to carry on being like that, and it's just not that good. compared to the singles they'll put out after this, being Curse and Seeing Red, you know, these two songs are absolute belters. They are slappers, but they're so different from each other. It makes you think, what the hell happened? And it's simple. Obviously, well, Seeing Red was an Architects track and Curse is a fucking Jordan Fish song, but you know, they're that different from each other, but they still sound great. It's two different styles done really well. Whereas with the Classic Symptoms, it feels like a mishmash of trying to throw shit at the wall and seeing what sticks. And guess what? Most of it doesn't stick. And that's not good. You know, self-explanatory. But yeah, I think out of their entire discography that we have been through, this is probably the weakest one. And obviously it's the most recent. They came back with a bang in 23 and well, this year as well with Curse. But yeah, I think this is probably one of their weakest outputs since Nightmares in the Here and Now. And that says something. Obviously, I'm going to just quickly give my thoughts as a collective, because we've now finished, and obviously I'll do another video regarding every album, but just to give a quick collective thought, Nightmares is just, you can tell it's a first record. Hollow Crown's a fantastic second record, excluding Split. It's a fantastic second record and introduces some great ideas that will follow the band for a while. The Here and Now is an inconsistent mess. Daybreaker's got a lot of good songs on it. Lost Forever, Lost Together is another one with some good songs. When it hits, it fucking hits, but when it misses, it misses. All Our Gods Have Abandoned Us is one of the best metalcore records in the last 20 years. And Holy Hell was a nice conclusion to the style at the time, and was it's just an all-around good metalcore record. For Those That Wish to Exist is a more modern metalcore type of record, but it's good. I enjoy For Those That Wish to Exist, but the Classic Symptoms of a Broken Spirit just does not hit me in the right way. It pushes all the wrong buttons for me and a lot of other people, and that's a massive shame. But yeah, we've now finished listening to Architects' back catalogue, and yeah, I've had fun with this one, as I've said. But I think the only other thing left to do now before we round out the Architect stuff is to put them all in I'll probably just put the albums in a tier list, and I'll talk about why I feel the way I feel about them. And then we'll move on to the next band which we're covering, which I've been told already that I'm not allowed to cover the band I wanted to cover. I have to cover a band that my missus wants me to cover, and that is for good reason, of course. I've gone through Architects, which is a band I already knew about, and I've gone through Bring Me the Horizon, which has become one of my favourite bands. So she is hoping that if I listen to her favourite band, I might start enjoying it, that being My Chemical Romance. Now, let's be real. My Chem, Architects, Bring Me the Horizon, come on. Very, very fucking different styles. I like heavy metal, music to make me headbang. I was never big on the emo scene. The only bands in the emo scene that I enjoyed were The Offspring, but I only had a brief phase with The Offspring. But I think the band that introduced me to hard rock, emo, and this kind of genre of music, full stop, outside of video games, was definitely 3 Days Grace. And it's been a long, long time since I've listened to 3 Days Grace albums in full. But I still have plenty of their songs on my playlist because they've aged phenomenally. When it comes to My Chem, there's only a few songs that I've actually listened to that I've liked, and a majority of those are their most popular songs. Granted, I haven't really heard their other stuff, but she just keeps telling me about this song and that song, and I've heard it before, and I'm like, I don't like it. But I'm going to put that aside, and I'm going to give My Chemical Romance a first shot. That's the least I can do, because it's one of the biggest bands on the planet, one of the most influential bands on the planet, and I've never bothered to even set foot into what they have to offer. So I think it's only fair that I do so. So yeah, when you next see me doing one of these, it'll be a My Chem binge. But for the time being, I hope you catch me for the finale of the Architects shit, where we talk about, every other record. And yeah, I shall see you all when we return for that video, and then eventually for My Chemical Romance. Thanks for everyone for joining me with this one. Thank you for all the support on them as well. This has been a lot of fun to do, and I'm enjoying doing this kind of content. It's a big transition from what I did on the main channel, but I'm enjoying it, so I'm going to keep doing it. So thanks a lot, and we'll catch you in the next one. Take care, and skadoodles.